It's beautiful, isn't it? Our Earth, the sapphire of space. We're all here, all our lives, to live them as we should. Yet, do we notice what we can't see, but helps us in every way? Each day, we wake up and get ready for what is to come. Tomorrow is always different, and so it still helps us live. It is motion, Newton's laws of motion. These laws explain how objects move when a force acts upon them. It explains the activities in life. Every week, the family would go grocery shopping to set up a menu for the week, and we would be accompanied by a shopping trolley. This is where Newton's first law of motion is present in our lives. The first law explains what happens when an object is at rest or in constant motion. A trolley does not move until you take it from the bay and push it yourselves. By pushing the trolley, you are applying a force forward to move the trolley in that direction. But when the trolley is left in one spot and it doesn't move, the effect is called inertia. This further explains the first law, that an object at rest will stay that way unless a force acts upon it. Forces are always present in our life, which also makes the first law to apply to us when we walk. We walk by pushing back and away from the ground, making friction to move forward. Inertia is in effect when we stand and sit, but when in action, the first law lives through us. With work comes fun, and every now and then we get to treat ourselves and play through sports like bowling. Bringing up Newton's second law of motion, which states an object will accelerate if an unbalanced force is applied to it. We bowl by first holding the ball in preparation to thrust it forward onto the lane. We apply a force to the ball by swinging our arm back, then forward with the ball. The second law also states that its acceleration will depend on the size of the force and the mass of the object. Because our force is much stronger than the mass of the ball, it accelerates in proportion to both the force and the mass. Hopefully, we strike. When we're old enough, we explore and venture to wherever and whenever. Like the other laws, we see the third law in effect all the time. Newton's third law of motion states that for every force, there is a force of the same size acting in the opposite direction. This other force is a reaction. Simply, for each and every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. When we drive, the action that makes the car move forward is when the wheel pushes the ground backwards. Its reaction is when the ground pushes the wheel forward, and this makes the car go forward in motion. Again, the third law applies to us walking, as we push the ground backwards with one foot, but then the ground pushes our foot forward. Fascinating how forces apply to every part of our lives. Now do you notice the forces that act on our lives? Motion is always present in our lives, in countless ways. Motion helps us be active in our lifestyles, whether it is eating breakfast or running around to find a job or an adventure. So I hope you've learned about the significance of motion in our lives. Well, that's it for me.